Terror in the Jungle is a 1967 jungle film that also happens to be a disaster film and looks like it wants to be a kids' movie, although it behaves like a horror movie. It is a bizarre film that went through 3 directors, one of whom apparently apologized on the film's IMDb page. This movie stars Jimmy Angle, Bob Burns, Chris Faceas, and Bert Holland. On a transcontinental flight departing for Brazil, a young boy travels alone, surrounded by a curious collection of strangers. The plane crashes somewhere in the Amazon. Alone in the jungle, the boy is discovered by a tribe of headhunters and treated as a gift from the gods. Meanwhile, the boy's father boards the next flight to South America, teaming up with a pilot, a missionary, and a monk with a buzz cut in search of the boy. Will father and son reunite? Will either of them escape the jungle alive? So, the things that work in this film and don't work in this film are the same things. It's a cheaply made version of a disaster movie, wilderness movie, engine movie, and so on that barely fits together. The performances range from serviceable to wooden. The effects are laughable, and the story is both simplistic and baffling. It's a bad movie, and it's a gem of a bad movie, filled with all the things that bad movie fans celebrate. And it contains that earnestness that sets it apart from intentionally bad or lazy films when an auteur really believes in their movie. So while the film was split between 3 directors for hire, it was Enrique Torres Tudela that was the writer, producer, and champion of this project. When he was younger, Tudela left his native Peru to pursue a singing career under the name Enrique Torres. By 1962, he appeared and performed a song in the Argentinian thriller Los Viciosos, directed by Enrique Carreras, and it looks like this is where he got the movie-making bug. Tudela would provide the theme song for Carreras' next movie, but Tudela would also work on the script, and he got his first producer's credit. And from there, he started his own production company, reportedly financed by Canadian Mormons. An IMDb review written by someone identifying himself as director Tom DeSimone detailed the hurdles of the unexperienced, underfunded, yet ambitious production. The cast was composed mostly of non-actors, some paying for the privilege. The plane scenes took 2 weeks to film, and was enough footage for its own movie, with 2/3 of the story yet to tell, and half of the script yet to be written. When DeSimone left, cameraman Andrew Janczak was promoted. He would direct the scene set in the Amazon rainforest. The production returned to LA, but the movie still wasn't finished. Tudela hired Alejandro Grattan to direct the tribal sun worship ceremony in LA's Griffith Park. He even secured stock footage of other native ceremonies to fill in the film. Regarding its exploitation bona fides, there's a lot of death in this movie. It's not graphic or even believable, but it's bountiful. Starting around minute 19, we have deaths by high-altitude ejection, crashing plane, explosions, alligators, jaguars, piranha, 2 poison darts, 3 on-screen stabbings. As for sex, this movie is rather coy for a drive-in movie. This is a story about a little boy trying to be reunited with his father after all. About that little boy, though. Jimmy Angle plays the lost child, and it's obvious he is not a trained actor. But he spends a lot of time looking convincingly terrified. What were these people on the other side of the camera doing to that boy? Terror in the Jungle did not launch anyone in its cast into superstardom, but it was a beginning of a new career for some of the participants. Bert Holland played the reporter at the airport, a bit role like many he had played in the B-movies of the 50s and 60s. But the film also needed makeup artists for the plane crash scene. Holland took the extra payday, learned on the job, and began a second career in makeup for independent and major studio films. Terror in the Jungle was DeSimone's first feature film as a director, and it could have been his last. But he reinvented himself for a different audience. And the video revolution allowed him to reinvent himself again and again, with genre classics for video store customers and cable audiences alike. As for Tudela, he found a way to continue making movies for another decade in Mexico, Canada, South America, leaning toward gothic horror stories and morality tales. But Terror in the Jungle would be the closest he would come to making it in Hollywood. Terror in the Jungle deserves to be enjoyed in the same way as Plan 9 from Outer Space and The Room, It's extremely riffable, with several schlocky shocks to get you through the lulls. And if you need a more intellectual exercise during the film, ask yourself this. Is this child truly innocent? Or does he bring death to everyone he meets? It is not everyone's cup of tea, but fans of good bad movies will find plenty of moments to cheer.